Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. First and foremost, I was eating fruit snacks, so my tongue is bluish, purplish, so don't mind that. Today's video is going to be a dupe video. I love doing dupe videos. I've been doing them for a while now. I mean, you can clearly see the history of my dupe videos. And today I have for you guys a dupe video for the Anastasia Beverly Hills Modern Renaissance palette, which we all know what this palette looks like already from the inside. Mine looks like trash, obviously, because I've had it for a while. So yeah. The interesting and fun part about this video is that I have 4, not 1, not 2, not even 3, 4 dupes. And I'm pretty sure there's plenty more out there because I have seen a couple from other brands. Anyways, 4 palettes. I would say out of all 4 of these, there's only one that I wouldn't recommend and that I just don't recommend. But let's start off the Modern Renaissance palette. We're gonna just go a little bit, you know, back into it. I have tutorials, I think, and reviews, so I will link those down below because those are kind of old. Back when the palette came out, that's when I did those reviews, in case you care to check them out. It does have 14 shades. Each shade contains 0.02 ounces of product, which that's a little bit, and a total of 0.7 grams, like for all the eyeshadows, and it retails for $42. Now this is a palette that I feel never lost its popularity because I still get comments like, what do you think about the Modern Renaissance palette? Have you ever tried that palette? Would you try it? Do you recommend it? Yada yada yada, which is why I still decided to do this video. I know a lot of people still like this palette, still use this palette, still do tutorials with this palette because it's just a really good palette, sort of speak. I feel like now that there's so many more palettes, this one's kind of like you know, but back then when it launched, it was a really good palette. This is the only palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills that caught my attention enough to actually buy. This one, when I saw it back when it launched, I was like, yes, hunty, that palette needs to be mine. And you guys know why. Obviously the colors, you know, these 3, 4 colors right here are literally my favorite colors. Now a couple things I can say is that there's 3 colors in this palette that I've only swatched that I never used because they just, these 2 right here, which is Buon Fresco Antique Bronze and Warm Taupe. Even though it says it's warm taupe, to me it looks more like a cool tone taupe. And then Golden Ochre, I used only a couple of times. The rest of the colors I use and I've enjoyed. Now, like I said, there's a lot of palettes now, a lot more eyeshadows, different formulas, better formulas than these nowadays. But back then, you know, this was a really good palette and I did like it. I did mention that it did have fallout, that it was super easy to have a lot of kickback when you dipped your brush in if you weren't very light-handed. Like, you have to take a soft brush. You can't take, like, for example, this brush that it comes with, this brush, when you dip it in there, it will create a mess, a hot-ass mess. You know, kind of like Subculture status, but Subculture was like, I feel like for everyone was like super crazy. Now for me, I did like this palette. I worked through all that because I enjoyed the colors. So just want to put that out there. Starting with the first dupe, which is a Makeup Revolution, and this is the newest palette that I purchased, Makeup Revolution Vitality palette. You can tell right away there's a lot of similar shades. I love the packaging on this. And let me put them up side by side just so you guys can see that they do have a lot of color, you know, that look very, very alike. This one does have 15 shades. The extra shade is this black one right here. This one doesn't have a black shade, but it is what it is. Now, even though with that extra shade, this palette contains way more product than the Makeup Revolution. It has 15 shadows. Each of them have 0.58 ounces. Ounces, is that a word? 0.58 ounces of product, which, like I said, the Modern Renaissance, each shadow is only 0.02 ounces. One of these eyeshadows contains more product than the whole palette because this contains 16.5 grams in total. Like all the eyeshadows in total, 16.5 grams. Modern Renaissance, 0.7 grams. Like, it's kind of like a joke how much product is in the Modern Renaissance because this palette is only $7. $7. Yes, you heard me right. $7 freaking dollars. And you can find this on revolutionbeauty.com or Ulta, which is where I bought mine. And I'm looking down because I have all my notes on how much everything is. Moving on to this next palette. This is a smaller palette and it does contain only 10 eyeshadows, Wet n Wild. And this is the Rosé in the Air, or Rose. I think it's Rosé because it has like an accent on top of the E. So I think it's Rosé in the Air. And this, like I said, only has 10 eyeshadows. But here's the thing. Each eyeshadow contains 0.35 ounces of product. And as a whole, all the eyeshadows together is 10 grams of product. This tiny baby little palette right here that has 4 less eyeshadows than the Modern Renaissance has more than half of what this Modern Renaissance palette has. You know, when I was checking all this out and the products and the amounts, I was just like, I was a little shook. Like, you know, $42. And FYI, this eyeshadow right here has hit pan because it broke, not because I used it up. And that's because I dipped my brush in and it just broke. Like, not from so much use. This one over here on the other hand, yeah, I used this one up. Like, I love this shade right here, the cream shade, because it's a really pretty cream, like, brow bone highlight shade. But this one, it broke, and it was like one of my favorite shadows. One of the reasons why I bought this palette, I was so salty when it broke. That's all I managed to like press back together because everything else just went whew, everywhere. So I have a very light touch with this palette, but I kind of got annoyed. And now that I see all these other palettes that, you know, they're much cheaper, they have way more product, I was like, this dupe video needs to be made. For the people who haven't bought the Modern Renaissance and are still thinking about buying it, girl, I got you covered to save your coins and buy a better palette. Okay? Okay. Now, like I was saying, this palette retails for $4.99. $4.99 on the Wet n Wild website. I purchased this one for about $3.50 or $4 from Walmart, and usually Walmart, Target are way cheaper than like CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, unless they're having a sale. But for the most part, I buy all my drugstore makeup from Walmart and Target because they are the cheapest. You know, just thought I'd let you guys know about that. But this is what it looks like. And now a little comparison. As you can see, I would say it has the basic popular shades from the Modern Renaissance palette without the extra shades that, for starters, I didn't even use from the Modern Renaissance. So, yeah. Now, moving on to the next one, which is the Bad Habit Beauty palette. And this is, I got it from the Shop Hush website. It is available only on the Shop Hush app now. Yeah. This palette's only $10. And I would say this one is most comparable, like, to the style of the palette and the shades, like how they're, you know, the order and stuff. That's what they look like, as you can tell. This is a bigger palette, and I do want to mention this palette's $10, and out of all the palettes I'm going to talk about, this has the most product. Each shadow contains 0.79 ounces of product for a grand total of 22.4 grams of producto, which is amazing for $10. Like, girl, has like way more than what the Modern Renaissance, like way more. than what the Modern Renaissance palette has. Now, the last palette, and this is a palette that I don't recommend, but I still want to mention just so you could be on the lookout in case you see this one. You're like, oh, it's a Modern Renaissance dupe, you know, let me buy it, let me try it out. Color-wise, yes, it's a dupe. Like, you know, the colors are similar, as you can see right here. Look at that. It has similar colors, but this palette is from Beauty Creations. It is called Irresistible, and it contains 15 shades. Each shade contains 0.53 ounces of product for a total of 15 grams. Still has a lot of product. Awesome. The thing I didn't like about this palette is that, I don't know if you can, will it focus? Focus please, yes. I don't know if you guys can see the oils seeping out of that product right there, this eyeshadow right here. All that oil. That happened within like 2-3 weeks of me owning this palette and using it, which I was pretty annoyed. I mean, this palette only retails for $9 and I purchased it from the Shop Hush website as well, and this one is available like shophush.com or the app, but the pigmentation honestly isn't there. The eyeshadows are very chalky, and that whatever oil it is, I don't know what kind of product it has in it, that made all that seep through. I didn't feel safe using it. You know, I care about my eyes and my eyeballs not popping out. Maybe it was nothing, maybe it was just a little excess glue or oil or whatever, but I just didn't feel safe using it. And the pigmentation compared to the Modern Renaissance, like, it's not there. This palette, like I said, I don't recommend it. If you are looking for a dupe, like a really good dupe, or even a little more affordable dupe, I don't recommend it. You know, buy this one instead for $5 and you know, you'll be as good as the Modern Renaissance one. Now that I got all that out of the way, these 3 palettes I would recommend as dupes for the Modern Renaissance. My favorite one, definitely, and the best one, and the one I'm going to be doing a side-by-side tutorial dupe for, is a Makeup Revolution. I had never tried a Makeup Revolution eyeshadows, and I am so shook how good they are. Like, they are freaking amazing. They blend amazing. I haven't told you which look is on, which palette is on which eye, but this palette, I'm obsessed. I want other palettes of the Makeup Revolution. And so this is going to be the tutorial side-by-side dupe for the Modern Renaissance, and actually I'm wearing them like this. This one, as you can see, is still super bright and vibrant. This one I feel like kind of turned to like a muddy, smoky, purpley eye, which is so weird because it started off like this, as you can see in the tutorial, as you will be able to see in the tutorial, and it kind of just like all muddled up together and kind of began like a weird like purple, and I didn't even use purple. I know these tones might have a purple undertone, but it definitely looks more like a purple smoky eye as opposed to this one, which is still bright. You can see the orange and the pops of like the, you know, cranberry shades. So definitely I am obsessed with this palette. I recommend it, especially if you're looking for a Modern Renaissance dupe. $7, and it has way more product than the Modern Renaissance. And with that being said, let's get right on to the tutorial. that basically concludes this video, this dupe video. Let me know if you guys like dupe videos. Give this video a thumbs up. Help your girl out, you know. Let me know if you like these type of videos. And this is definitely the winner chicken dinner for the dupe of the Modern Renaissance palette. I love it. I'm obsessed. I'm going to buy more, as well as this one is a really good palette. Even if you already have the Modern Renaissance, I recommend this palette. This is a bomb palette, perfect for travel, so tiny. I can pull off a lot of looks with this little palette, and yeah. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for all your support and for tuning in to this video. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.